You're not. We might plan if you got a minute, we should talk to you together.
Okay.
On the 27th.
Yeah, luckily, we cut it short. Everybody, just give me 1 second.
I don't know if that's the, I think that's might be sound, that's not speakers, is it?
Oh, it does do that. I was just asking them all.
Oh, okay.
Just for the record, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I wear camouflage.
That's everybody for the city. Wait, is he over there? Probably. Jason, you can't applause.
All right. So it appears we got awesome. All right. All right, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Today is Monday, March 3rd, 2025. This is the City of Camilla regularly scheduled work session for the month of March. And at this time, just a couple of things. Our city manager, Sheriff Ford, she's here in the building. She's just in her office. She's out of abundance of caution. She's in there. She's doing awesome and feeling better. But just to make sure everybody is good, she's remaining in our office and will be participating that way. And then obviously we don't have Councilman Collins. So with that, Council, is there a motion to approve the agenda for today?
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion that has been properly seconded. Council, what I would ask you to do, because there are a couple of things on here that we're going to have to deal with. A couple of them came up last week, close to the weekend, but obviously we can handle it here. Would like to ask if there is a substitute motion to have the council as an action item for tonight to approve or to accept as submitted the appraisal for Mr. Lane back. And then obviously there are some other issues here that we need to modify the agenda. We can do it at that particular time, but I thought that was important to get it up front as an action item. So at this time, council, is there a substitute motion to add as an action item tonight the city's acceptance of the appraisal by Mr. Laneback as submitted. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion, properly second. Any discussion? All right, I think it's important that obviously we've heard as it relates to Cobblestone and Mr. Laneback and the purpose of this appraisal, and obviously the attention that it has received. I think it's important that it is communicated to the public one way or the other, whether or not the city of Camilla accepts this appraisal as relates to the land in question, as relates to the proposed site for the Cobblestone Hotel. So we have a motion that's been properly seconded. Is there any other discussion?
We have on the agenda item 4 some questions about the appraisal.
Sure.
Would we perhaps be able to wait until after that time?
No, well, because we are, oh, yes, ma'am. No, the action items come first. So the idea is to take care of that so that when we get to that item, obviously that would already be part of the conversation. So, but again, that's up to the majority of this council, if they would like to do it that way. I think it would be prudent to do it, but obviously.
So could Mr. Palmer present his questions at this time then?
No, ma'am. First thing we have to do is see what is the results of the substitute motion.
Gotcha.
If it is added as an action item, that would be the first thing that we'll do today. All right, any other discussion? All right, again, council, we have a motion, this is a substitute motion to add as an action item to have the city of Camilla accept the appraisal from Mr. Laneback as submitted. Again, we have a motion for proper second. Lastly, any other discussion? All right.
Is it possible to discuss the appraisal now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
All right.
Sorry.
So, Cheryl Ford, this is going to be a roll call vote. So, Madam Clerk, Madam City Manager, what I'll do is I will do the roll call from here, and then that way you can just record it there. How's that?
That's fine. I can do it if you can hear me.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and give it a shot.
Okay. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Rain,
No.
Councilman Garlick,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
No.
Councilman Maples,
Yes.
and Councilman Palmer.
No.
Mayor votes yes, motion carries. And before we go forward, Councilman Collins, are you in the city of Camilla, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so sir, you have to be out of the jurisdiction to participate as part of the meeting. You surely can listen in if you like, but if you're in the city limits of Camilla, you wouldn't be able to communicate or participate telephonically. Now, what I want to do though, and just so that everybody understands, every council member is allowed 2 times per year to communicate or be part of the meetings if you're out of the jurisdiction. But what I would like to do is turn to our city attorney. We got Attorney Alicia Thompson online, and we also have Attorney Wiley, who will be handling our hotel stuff. But Attorney Thompson, what are your thoughts?
And I apologize, Mr. Mayor, I was getting to the mute button. Yeah, it's my understanding, I was looking something up for confirmation, but it's my understanding that he can participate by teleconference just twice with given the proper notice or notice as it might be required under your charter throughout the year. I know you said that there was a caveat, obviously, as long as you're out of the jurisdiction. And so I did need to confirm that, but he is allowed to attend by teleconference at least twice within the year, but I need to confirm the portion that speaks to him being outside of the jurisdiction.
Okay, no,
I'll just
that's
make
not,
a confirm for you, Alicia. Mr. Mayor, you're correct. The caveat will be you have to be outside the jurisdiction or ill, if you're ill. And so those are the two caveats.
Please, I just want to give everybody,
so, no, absolutely, and the other caveat to that would be a doctor's excuse.
After the two times are utilized, then any subsequent absences due to illness have to be accompanied by a doctor's note.
All right. Yes, ma'am, so.
And I hope you feel better, Councilman Coleman. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, council, I personally don't have an issue, and if the amount attorney doesn't have an issue, related to, Councilman Collins says that he is ill, I have absolutely no problem accepting that as is. If the Open Meetings Act allows us to do that, and he's allowed to participate, without that excuse, telephonically. So any issues with that, Madam Attorney?
No, and actually, thank you, Attorney Wiley, yes, G3, in 50-14-1 does allow for teleconference, participation if, they're absent out of the jurisdiction or for health reasons, so I think he'll satisfy that.
Indeed. So council, if there's no objection, we will accept, that Councilman Collins is here, and, that's not why he's here. Any objection to that?
No.
All right, good deal. You good, Councilman?
I'm good.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, so, Cheryl, if, just to make sure, that count was Mayor voting yes, Mayor Pro Tem voting yes, Councilman Morgan voting yes, Councilman, Maples voting yes, and you had, Councilmember Moraine, Collins, and Palmer voting in dissent. Is that what you got?
That's the way it's recorded.
Okay, all right, thank you, everyone. All right. So, with the agenda approved, with that one action item, before we get to that action item, let's go ahead and open it up for speaker appearances. Please refer to me.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah,
Charlie Dixon. On March 24th of this year, I'll be an 80-year-old citizen of Michigan County.
all right.
I come not to complain about anything, but just to say how appreciative I am of the compliment that this city council has made under your leadership. And thank you for the Bottom Girls Club. It's a wonderful facility. I went through it and looked at everything, and everything looks good. It's gonna be great enhancement for this city. And a lot of things that we are investing in this city, I don't look forward to us making any money from it. So we invested in the Toon Park. I don't think it produced any income, but it's a great enhancement for the city. So is the water park downtown. And I look at schools, you know, to me, it's an enhancement for the city. And probably will produce some income in the future. But we shouldn't look for everything that we invest in to bring about money. Sometimes we invest in things that enhance the city. And the way this city is growing with the visionary aspect of most of the councilmen, this city might become the capital of Georgia one day. At the speed it is growing under this leadership. And I just appreciate everything that you all doing for the inhabitants of the city. And I just hope everyone will get on board and just do what's necessary. And those that vote against things for the progress of this city, realize that you're voting against God's will. Because these things couldn't have been done if it wasn't God's will for it to be done. So when you vote no for the enhancement of this city, then you vote against God's will. And no matter how you vote, God's will gonna be done, regardless. You know? It's not about the money or who you are, how long you've been here. My granddad was this and that. It ain't about that. It's all about God's will. We gotta have some love in this city in order to continue to accomplish things that we have a vision for. We got visionary leadership, there's a visionary city, and it's growing tremendously. And I'm proud of it, you know. Years ago I wasn't, but now I am. I can say I'm a proud citizen of this county. And I love this city of Camilla, and I thank y'all for everything y'all done and gonna do. Don't worry about those that voting against you. That ain't gonna be continuously. Because they voting in vain because God's will shall be done. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, who's next? All right, speaker appearances. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the first action item for tonight. As you recall, council just voted to add as an action item tonight to vote on whether or not to accept the appraisal from Mr. Langback regarding the property for the whole site of the new cobblestone hotel. So with that, council, is there a motion to approve the appraisal from Mr. Langback regarding 43 Butler Street that will is the proposed site of the cobblestone hotel? Is there a motion to approve or to accept the appraisal as submitted? So moved. Second. We have a motion, properly second. Any discussion? All right. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Please.
the appraisal that was submitted and given, it has a value beginning July 1, 2027. And I foresee that as paying full price for a wrecked car. If I had a lot next to my house that was worth $10,000 and I said, hey, I'm gonna sell you this lot for $300,000 because I'm gonna build a house on it, I don't think the person would pay me the money before the house was built. So I just believe that the appraisal or the price that we are talking about paying for this property is what it's worth with something else on it, but that's not on it, so I think we're paying too much for it. I think that the appraisal is fair if there's a hotel on it, but we're asked to buy it right now and there's not a hotel on it. So I just, my only problem is, why would we pay a price for something that's not there? That's my take on that. I think we're paying too much money for that property, or the appraisal asking price is too much for what the property is actually worth.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Perrine is correct on that. I mean, this is projected value as if there were a hotel and infrastructure and all improvements were made on this property. The appraisal is not as is, what is, on that piece of property over there, because basically there's nothing but vacant piece of property. I agree with, that's just one of the things that, concern me about the appraisal. And also, stated in there that, there were no recent comparable sales in the city of Camilla. Well, that's not accurate, because there has been one particularly out there on where Jack's Hamburger is, was in May of '23. The sales that were used in this appraisal were vacant land sales in Thomasville and Valdosta, which are not, in my opinion, comparable to property in Camilla, Georgia. The other part of the comparables was the hotels that were used as if the property were improved, were hotels in the Atlanta area and one in Nashville, Tennessee, which is most certainly not comparable to our market. And there have been hotels that have sold in our area, and they were not used.
Councilman, if you don't mind, which page are you referencing?
I'm referencing, no comparables, that was page 43. The hotel sales on page 63. Another comment was page 67. The subject is going to take approximately 15 months to construct. And after that, it's estimated it's 4 years before the hotel will reach what is called stabilization. That means that it would make any money at all. So we're going to have a 5.5 years of loss up front with this particular project. Cobblestone's hotels there are none in the state of Georgia present. There are 3 in the state of Alabama, and others are north and west, is what I understand. So this brand name is not common in the state of Georgia, because there are no hotels, no cobblestone hotels. Another question is the city going to lease this building to Cobblestones? Question.
No, the city of Camilla owns the building.
I know that, that's not what I asked. Is it going to lease it to Cobblestones to manage?
There will be a management agreement for Cobblestone's management, yes.
And do we have a copy of that agreement?
Well, there's a whole lot of stuff that has to happen before we get there, but.
Well, they got a outline of what that would look like, that's what we need to look at.
I think that the information that has been presented related to the feasibility study, and obviously this report, which I would, again, have everybody, or remind everybody, this thing is probably in the neighborhood of 100 pages long with a whole lot of information, including some of the ones that the councilman has brought up. But Cobblestone itself, they have, in essence, their in-house construction, and they have their in-house management. So when this hotel is built, they handle getting the folks to work there. They handle, and once we approve, if it's approved, they have the folks that build it for them. So this is pretty much all one-stop shop, so.
Now, the part about the franchise, are we gonna be purchasing a franchise from Cobblestones for that facility, or how's that gonna work?
Sure, there is a fee, but as we mentioned, or I just mentioned, just a moment ago, Councilman, we haven't gotten that far yet. There's a whole lot of stuff that has to happen before we get to, that particular piece, if you will.
Well, these questions should be part of the due diligence that you're gonna need to make an intelligent decision on a significant, piece, project like this with that much money.
Yeah, yes, sir.
That's a lot of money.
But just real quick, Councilman, that is part of the feasibility study, sir. All of those costs, those estimated costs, there are, projections inside of that document. So none of this is in the blind. What we haven't done is actually put pen and paper, because the first thing that has to happen is we have to get the bonds, and this council has to approve that. So, and what does that look like? We gotta find out what the interest rate is gonna be. I mean, there's a lot that has to happen. When I say a lot, somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe an additional 6 to 8 weeks of work that has to be done. So this is just part of it. So those questions that you're asking are important questions, but we haven't gotten there yet. And some of those that you brought up is already embedded inside of the feasibility study, and I would argue inside of this appraisal.
You mentioned the bond issue coming before this. When you commit to a bond issue, and the bonds company has signed off, you are committed. There's no exit on that. You pay them as you have agreed to pay.
Sure. I mean, that is the
That's
the very
This
basic.
is sort of a cart before the horse, but that's my question. I got that answer.
Fair enough. All right.
The last question I had is, the land size is 3.51 acres according to the tax assessor's office. I'm on the first page of the summary report of facts.
Sure.
And we looked at a plot that it said it was 4 acres. So that parcel that we're talking about buying is 3.51 acres. That's the whole square there.
I believe that's what's listed in the report. I don't have it yet.
All right, there may be another half acre floating around out there is what I'm saying. I just wanted to, clarify that. And I don't know, I just know that there was a piece that I was gonna pull up on my phone, but I just thought that I would ask if you might happen to know if there's another half acre floating around.
Sure,
on that.
so obviously you have a footprint of the hotel itself.
Well, I'm talking about the property.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think,
And it just says that, 1.8 acres for the hotel, and then there's 1.69, or about 1.7 acres excess.
well, there
So,
it is.
and but again, there's another half an acre that may be floating around, so I don't know, I'm just saying, we might wanna look and be sure of the exact amount of land that we're talking about.
Well, the tax records are clear, so. Okay. So to the councilman's, point, I just wanna make sure that the public understands this.
That's a whole lot.
Yeah, what is it?
Is it-
3.5?
Okay, the 3.5 is a lot.
3.51.
Okay,
That's
thank
the
you.
tax exception there.
All right, I appreciate it.
But that was in the report.
Yeah, it's right here. It's in the report.
I'm looking at it.
All right. To the councilman's point, and I think it's important that, that the public, I just want to just say a couple of things about that. He was saying, or actually, I'm sorry, Councilmember Green was saying, hey, we're buying something that, that's not there, and I think, the councilman echoed that. As
And I
far,
just was asking, I just wanted to be sure.
yeah,
And, while you're on the tax assessor's office, if you look, they've got the land value at $35,000.
yeah, and I think that's important, because I keep hearing that number. But can you guys see my screen? Let me see if I can make it a little bigger for you. Because this is the part where it gets fairly aggravating for me, or frustrating. Folks sending stuff in the mail, but they don't tell you who sent it. They don't reference where they get numbers from, but just hoping you believe it. Saying things like, respectfully, land assessor has it valued at $35,000, as it's currently zoned. It is zoned as residential. The report clearly says on page 2, we make the following extraordinary assumptions for all three values. Extraordinary assumptions, as Councilman Palmer knows, who's in real estate, as we discussed a couple of weeks ago, that is a real estate term. That's a real estate term. That's not a fancy word made up. There was an extraordinary assumption made that A, you're going to rezone this, meaning the council is going to rezone that property to commercial too. Right? Not residential. We're not building a house. We're not building a house there. And that you're going to build a hotel on top of said commercial property. Right there on page 2. We make the following extraordinary assumptions for all three values. The site is rezoned to C2, General Business District. The taxpayer site size is reasonably correct. After a new survey is complete, the estimate of the cost to complete the project is reasonably correct, and the property is developed as have been described in the report using quality materials and good workmanship. You're going to build a hotel there. You're not going to build a 2-bedroom house. So the report accounts for that. That property will be worth $460,000 if you rezone it and if you build a hotel on it. As you know, because somebody, I don't know who, somebody with a whole lot of paper and apparently a whole lot of ink. Now, I don't know who in Benton County got that much paper and got that much ink to print somewhere you can put it in every mailbox in this town. I have no idea who has that capacity. But these folks fail to make those factual statements. If it goes this way, it's gonna cost this. If you do that, you gotta sell all your chickens and so forth and so forth. But we're not gonna tell you where it came from. We're not gonna tell you where we got these numbers from. We're not gonna tell you who mailed it to you, except local postal customer. McCall Owens and the rest of the council to defend these lies. But I'm not going to say anything about how to contact me to ask me where I get these numbers from. But I'm hoping that we scare enough folks, that we create enough anger for silliness. So that's why I'm grateful for these meetings. Because here in this room, you gotta have the facts. And the facts are that the appraiser made the assumption that we're gonna rezone this property to commercial and that we're gonna build a hotel on it. And everything that you've seen from yard signs and letters in the mail and all this other silliness is that we are building a hotel. It says it right on the yard sign. So if we do all those things, the projected or the estimated property value of this property is $460,000. And obviously, there's three assumptions, up to $10,200,000 at stabilization. And as the councilman knows, he just told you guys a minute ago, for 5.5 years, I have no idea where that comes from, because that's not what the feasibility study says.
It comes out of that break.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, 2 years. 2 years. The first 2 years. At a clip of about just roughly $150,000 total for the first 2 years. Around year 3, we're breaking even, projected. And it goes from there. Only thing that I'm hoping and wishing and would ask our council members and members of the public and folks that have the capacity to print stuff and mass produce it. All thing I'm asking you to do is that we're going to talk about half of this, tell the whole story though. That would be extremely helpful for us here in the city. So ideally.
I just have one more. I don't have $6,472 to get an appraisal done, like this one. But I did ask someone that's familiar with local real estate and is a certified commercial appraiser exactly what the property was worth. And the figure that I was given, and I don't have it in writing because, like I said, I didn't have the money to pay, but I did.
So, one second. Everybody heard that, right? I just want to make sure that.
I don't have it in writing.
Madam Clerk, I just want to make sure that is part of the record. So let's go ahead and present to the public
The dollar value that I was given.
that is not validated by anything coming from a duly elected official of the city of Camilla. Go ahead, ma'am, the floor is yours. Put that number out first.
I was given the dollar value of $285,000.
Okay, yeah, all right, yes, ma'am. Anything else?
Yes,
Yes,
referring back to what's particular person about this appraisal, as far as I know, Mr. Whatever his name is, that did this, is a reputable person as far as I know. I do not know the man. But that the property, the land is appraised as if all of these things were done. That's what you call the extraordinary assumptions that you make. The value, well, I think we should be paying for that property, or the city is going to pay for it, or the value that it should be said that is the value today, what it is worth today as it sits there, not what it's going to be, because we don't know sure that it's going to be anything.
All right. Anything else? Yeah. Give me just 2 seconds here. All right, Councilman Palmer just said, he doesn't know the name. And so let me just give you the person that created this nearly 100-page report to present to the citizens of the city. His name is Paul Langback, Sr. And the initials after his name is MAI, AI-GRS. He graduated from Georgia College in Millersville, Georgia with a BA in August of 1977. ABAs in the National School of Real Estate Finance, professional experience, Landback and Company, Inc. He's been the president of that company since July 1988 to present. He was a staff appraiser prior to that from September 1990 to 1998. He was a vice president at Trust Company Bank, Middle Georgia, from December 1981 to August 1990. His professional designation is MAI, AI-GRS, member of the Appraisal Institute. He's certified He's Georgia Certified General, number CG 365, and he's also certified in the state of Tennessee, number 2782. He is a qualified expert witness in Bibb County, Houston, Jones, Baldwin, Doherty, Putnam, Pulaski, Peach, Pike, Monroe, Clark, Muskogee, Toombs, Lawrence, Clayton, and Whitfield counties. That's what he got is. All right, any other questions? All right, so council, again, the question is to accept Ms. Laneback's appraisal as submitted. We have a motion that's been properly seconded. Any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, this will be a roll call vote. Sure. You might have hit the mute. Yeah, you're muted. Sure, are you there? All right, council. Again, we have a motion that's been properly seconded. Any other discussion? All right, Councilmember Green,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Burley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins, Councilman Collins, Councilman Makins,
Yes.
Councilman Paul.
No.
Mayor votes yes, motion carries. All right, thank you, Council. Sure, you here, we'll come back to you. All right. First item for discussion tonight is economic development. Councilmember Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
I, first wanted to start out by thanking you for this past weekend, and the opportunity that you provided for our youth council, taking it to Atlanta. I think that was a wonderful thing, and I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate it, and I think that was pretty awesome, what you did for those kids.
Well, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Candy Thomas and John Florence, as it relates to that also.
Well,
And Jim.
that is the future of our city, and I appreciate your time and doing that with them. And along that note, we've had several citizens speak lately on, and this is downtown development that I'm speaking of. And I would like to see us develop a little more interest in our downtown, through local events. Several people have expressed an interest to bring back nap days. I'd like to see us partner with successful events and expand them, like our local Christmas parade, and the homecoming parade. Both were wonderful events, and expand on that, not to just have people come for 30 minutes and watch a parade, but to keep them downtown. I would like to perhaps create some new events. Food Truck Friday or something I wrote down, maybe a car show. Centennial Field parking lot is an amazing space that I think we are underutilizing. And I know we have talked about the local farmers market, and we got lots of ladies make some mean jelly around here. I know that at one time I remember coming downtown for a local craft fair where people had that. So along those lines, I would like to, first of all, perhaps establish a local volunteer committee that could help us expand on these ideas and make things that are good better. And also, we are a member of Electrical Cities of Georgia, and they have a department that will come in at no charge and look at our area and see perhaps where we could expand in economic development. I know I don't know if I can call them, but I know that it would be great if they could come in and give us some recommendations, and perhaps on the recommendations of a local committee, I would like to see us hire someone, to coordinate events, and perhaps a dual role in writing grants as well. I know that you members like me get a lot of emails about a lot of grant money that's out there. And, just to summarize, I think it would be beneficial to our city to pursue, with the help of the ECG and perhaps local volunteer committee, to establish a position for downtown development and bring back that days, make good things better. Perhaps partner with the ECG to do a study that they would do free of charge to help us out with that. And like I said, just in summary, perhaps consider a position, being provided for downtown economic development. Thank you.
All right. Want to point out to you, Councilmember, if you're not aware, we have a downtown economic development authority, and we have a Camilla Development Authority. The chair of both of those committees is sitting right across from you. So how about you take the floor and ask Councilman Palmer, what are the plans that the Camilla Development Authority and the Camilla Downtown Development Authority have planned? Now, they've only met 4 times in the last 3 years, but he may be working on something. So you go ahead and answer that question if you like. He's right there.
Okay, so would that be possibly something we could look at in the
In the
future?
first place, we don't have a full-time employee that does, economic development and whatever the city in the past has done that through the chamber, and they no longer do that, except occasionally on a case-by-case basis. So that is not a role of the development authority.
Now, isn't that interesting? What the public has just heard is the reason why the majority of this council is doing the things that it's doing. In the absence of that action, the majority of this council has decided to act. What has happened in the 3 years that this council, the majority of it, has done when it's taken over economic development and the forward motion of this city? We've only been named one of 6 cities as a visionary city in this state. We were one of 6 cities in this entire state that was just recently named a planned first city, meaning the things that you plan, you actually do, City of Camilla. And it was so important, and that was such a big deal, that they announced it on the House floor at the state capitol of this state. One of 6 cities. You don't need to expand government to the tune of another $50,000 or $60,000 when you have 7 elected officials who were duly elected to figure out how do we improve the quality of life of our citizens. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. I just gave you a couple of examples on how that can be done just with the elected officials. And we make, on average, about $300 a month. You don't need to expand government to the tune of another $50,000 or $60,000 just to do that. What you have to do, though, you got to do the work, though. You have to be passionate about moving this city forward. That's the only caveat. Don't have to do anything special. So I don't think that we need to add more positions. We just need folks around here that are elected to do what they're supposed to be doing. This is why we created the URA. Because, as you just listened or heard, the chairman of the Downtown Development Authority, the chairman of the Camilla Development Authority, doesn't believe that that is a responsibility of those authorities. I literally have no words.
Question, not responsibility. The development authority is not to have a person to put on fairs and events downtown. That's not what our purpose is, and while we're on that subject, development authorities have been in place for, back in the 70s. We have a very long scorecard of accomplishments that we have done. Probably the biggest one is Tyson Foods, Denver Park, and just on and on and on. Hundreds of projects that we have done and have been successful in creating employment for this town. And as far as comparing us to the URA, which has recently been put into place, as far as I know, they've had done one thing, and that scores Mr. Flop.
All right.
So, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I just wanted to ask.
Well, just
Oh, I'm
one
sorry. I'm so
second.
sorry. I didn't interrupt.
Everybody just heard that, right? Who was the facilitator of the community, the city of Camilla Resource Center that would house the Boys and Girls, or that houses the Boys and Girls Club? Who was the facilitator of the bonds that will build a brand new $5.1 million community gym? Who was the facilitator to help move through our urban redevelopment plan, which included elements of our comprehensive plan that got this city, one of 6 cities in this state, to be designated a Plan First city, which now makes this city eligible for $1 million every single year for the next 3 years. That's your URA, sir. And we've done it in record time. Now, for those that want to continue, Tyson's been here for decades. And it's a wonderful facility, wonderful corporate partner. But we're talking about what's happening right now. Right now. And I would have absolutely no problems standing with our vice chair and our mayor pro tem on what the URA has accomplished over the last 2.5 years. $3 million eligible for the city, URA. $5.1 million gym that we will break ground ceremonially here in the next 2 months. State of the art, URA. That's what we've been doing. And I didn't compare you, sir. Council member wanted to know about all this extra stuff that we can do downtown. I just simply directed her to the person that chairs the authority. She was talking about making a committee. Damn, we already got an authority with legislative authority. Forget about committee. The councilman chairs a authority. That's like a whole nother council. I
just wanted to say thank you. I'm new, I'm just learning,
Sure.
and I appreciate you letting me know that, and I know where to go now.
Also,
I appreciate it.
yes, ma'am, but I also want to help you out again.
Okay.
Because you said you said electrical, but it's actually electric Seesion.
Okay, excuse me, I know I got
That's all
to
right.
from today.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here for you. Again.
Okay.
So you mentioned, maybe we can get them down here.
Cheryl said they came out and did a really good thing 3 years ago.
Yeah. So that's, you see, there it is right there, ma'am. Edge training, and that is provided by no one other than the Electric Cities of Georgia.
Right.
We've already had that done. The question is, hence the reason why the URA was created. The folks that are supposed to have been exercising this and making this happen wasn't doing it. So what we did was, the majority of this council and the URA, we put it to work. So what you're asking for, tell us where we can do this, tell us where we can do that. This is it now. It's on our website. It does everything you just mentioned. Every single thing. There, look at it right there. Reactivate. Listen to this. The Downtown Development Authority have been so inactive. Look at one of our implementation strategies. Reactivate the Downtown Development Authority.
So that's from 2021. Would it be possible for you to send me a copy of that, maybe by email?
Ma'am, it is on our website, free for everybody to look at.
Okay, it's a lot of places to navigate, but I will definitely do that.
Indeed. And I would ask you, yeah, is there, obviously the URA and the majority of this council, we took it seriously and we've been working hard to put all of this in motion. And we are excited about that. So back to you, ma'am. Floor is yours.
No,
Now, let me ask you a question. What is your opinion of, so we have a Mitchell County Development Authority that's chaired, we've had the chairman come here a couple of times, letting everybody know that he is the chairman of the Mitchell County Economic Development Authority, come on, Mr. Joe Boston. That he's the chairman of the Economic Development Authority here in Mitchell County. And he's asking opinions about some things. I don't know if he speaks for the commission that appointed him, because I just want to make sure everybody understands, he's not elected to anything, but he's appointed to that position. What are your thoughts about the Mitchell County, because we're in the county, what are your thoughts about the Mitchell County Development Authority? Any thoughts on the work that they're doing, or whatever work they're doing?
well, you kind of put me on the spot. Can I do my homework first?
Well, it says,
You know?
it says here you want to talk about economic development. I don't think that you,
Well, I meant, and when I talked to Cheryl about it, I just said I wanted to talk about doing some stuff downtown. And so I guess her wording is like in number 2, I really didn't want to talk about the cobblestone part of it. There was something else I had in mind, but I guess I need to be a little more specific in my words. But you know me well enough, Mr. Owens. I will do my homework.
yes, ma'am.
And can I get back to you on that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Fair enough.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that's how I roll.
Okay.
Okay, but thank you for asking, because I have some homework to do.
Indeed. No, let me ask you, would you agree that the last time Mr. Boston was here, identified himself as the chairman of the Mitchell County Economic Development Authority, is it safe to say that he was against the hotel? Do you recall?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
I just, and you do remember him saying that he's the chairman of the Mitchell County Development Authority?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let me ask, just real quick, I apologize, everybody, this will be real quick. When we send emails individually, council members, it doesn't show up in your box as City of Canole. It shows up like my name or the councilman's name or your name, if you will. So if you send me an email, it won't say City of Canole. It'll say Azalee Marine, if you will, is the person that sent you this email. Because if it had said the City of Canole, then obviously That's the city.
It'll say external if it's not in the.
Indeed, but if it came from City of Camilla, which we don't have that type of deal because everybody here is individual, but if it came from that, that would indicate that the city is sending a secret. That this is who's talking to you, if you will. So I know that seems fairly abstract, everybody, but it'll make sense a little bit later. All right, any other comments regarding the number? Okay, good deal. You're up again, my friend. Number 2, comments on all 10.
All right, okay, at, maybe it was the last meeting, I think it was, I proposed the numbers of if this hotel came to fruition and if it were full every night of the year, we would still be operating at a minus $200,000 a year, based on projections, again, that I received online as far as profit per room, $30 a room.
Now,
Okay,
just for the record, that number for the city of Camilla, losing $200,000, can you provide that to the citizens of the city?
yes, sir.
Okay, where is it?
Well, I had it at the last meeting,
That somebody did a report for the city of Camilla.
oh, well, I
Home
don't have the
Hotel.
kind of resources that, that you have, I just did math.
Okay,
I took 54 rooms at the profit that was given each night. But I don't compromise. All right, I like to, I'm trying to work with saving the city money. And I would like to propose an alternative to a 54-room hotel.
based on what?
Well, based on, 2 other boutique hotels that are similar in size. And if you'll just give me,
Sure.
okay,
Yes,
all
ma'am.
right. I would like to see us explore using properties that the city already owns. One being the McNeil Building. The McNeil Building could, with some renovations, become a smaller boutique hotel. Downstairs could have a lobby, an exercise room, so at least 3 rooms and a junior suite with a covered patio event area. I've got some pictures. Upstairs would be at least 8 rooms and a master suite, and your upstairs master suite could double as a bride's room, downstairs as that.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I promise.
Okay, wait.
And I mean this with all due respect.
Mhm.
Ma'am, this is a legislative meeting.
Yes, sir.
You are presenting something to the public that is not based on it. There are no documents. Who's the architect of what you do? You just said that the downstairs could be this and this, and the upstairs could be this and this.
I'm
based on
basing
what
it on,
laws?
okay. The Osceola Hotel in Donaldsonville.
No, ma'am, you said A.A. McNeil. Who was the architect?
I don't have the resources that
Well,
you
ma'am,
have.
well, can you make this caveat that I have not?
But I have a suggestion as an alternative to spending $20 million that, you say $170,000 a room, your own study says that.
Where's your state, ma'am? That's what I'm asking. You are presenting hypotheticals to this city on a hotel that the A.A. McNeil building can be turned into a boutique hotel
Correct.
with no architectural drawings, no codes of materials, no feasibility study, none of that.
Well, you did a feasibility study, and this particular site checks the boxes better than the site that you're proposing. It would be on the busiest street in Camilla.
In your opinion, can you at least say that?
But no, GDOT's got Broad Street at 8,000 cars a day, as opposed to Butler Street is 2,000.
All right, so council, what I'm gonna do, out of respect to the council member. Council member, you have 10 minutes. If you want to present, this, and I say with all due respect, this fictional hotel out of A. McNeil. The floor is yours, man. I won't interrupt you. Go ahead.
Well, I appreciate it. Your own study says $170,000 per room. It's on page 63. All right, if we were to go by those numbers, 15 rooms would cost $2.25 million. We would have to relocate the USDA, but right now, their situation is such that if you are to go there, you have to wait outside to be buzzed in, and if we put them in another location, which the city has one that they could be relocated at, we could possibly renovate that, around 200,000, and I'm saying $2.5 million, $3 million, and we have a small boutique hotel downtown with 15 rooms that could have small events as well, and maybe $3 million all in. I don't have an architectural degree or design, but I'm going by the numbers that are from your study. And I do know that for something to be successful in Camilla, it needs to have the whole community behind it. And I think that we could make something that's a little bit smaller and still have a nice hotel downtown. And on a smaller scale, we aren't competing against the hotels on 19 or the bed and breakfast, but we still satisfy having a newer, nicer hotel in Camilla at a fraction of the cost. By the estimates that I've gotten from what y'all have given us, it's anywhere from $11 to $13 million in costs for the newer hotel. $6 million in interest. And we haven't taken into consideration that the feasibility study, and you said 3, but the feasibility study says 4 years. So we're looking at 4 years of operating costs, and it could push $20 million. And I think that we could do something for $3 million that would satisfy the same purpose. And I think it merits looking into before we jump on the bandwagon and commit to this large amount of money. I think that it would be worth looking into. The Osceola Hotel in Donaldsonville, Georgia, they took a building that had been vacant for 50 years. It's relatively the same size, and with a $3 million investment, they created something that's beautiful. And it's about the same size. And Donaldsonville is a city of population of 2,900, which is smaller than us, but it's very successful. Bainbridge, which has a population of about 14,000, took the Willis Park facility and did a similar renovation. And again, it's on the downtown square, and it's a smaller, less expensive alternative to spending $20 million. And I just would hope that we might consider looking into that. When Cobblestone came and spoke to the county group, they mentioned to them that they liked to come in and renovate older buildings, and who knows, they might partner on a smaller venture that wouldn't cost so much money. So that is just what I wanted to present tonight, a alternative that wouldn't cost so much money and would check most of the boxes that we're looking for in putting a new hotel in Camilla. And I thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. But I do want to ask you, you said $20 million a couple of times. Where is that number?
Okay, I've added them up. I actually got between 23 and 25, because the 20 is what you, and I don't know, is it 11 or 13? Because that number has changed a couple of times, the bond.
So
We're talking about.
I guess.
And once it was 11, or once it was 13 and then it was 11, So I just put it 11 to 13.
I guess what I'm trying to clarify, these are your numbers.
Well, I've heard 3 different numbers on that bond, so I
No,
decided.
the $20 million figure.
Oh, no, okay, so the interest came from a proportion I did in relation to the interest on the gym.
But this is your math.
This is not.
Okay, got it.
All right,
Would you agree, ma'am, that when we started down this road, the resolution that is in place is not to exceed $13 million? Would you agree?
yes, and that $13 million bond included a $2 million cash infusion according to the feasibility study, which you said at the last meeting, we're taking that off the table.
No, it's off the table.
Right, okay, so that makes it 11.
Okay, so if the city has already said that the bond cannot exceed 13 million.
Okay, so that's 13 million, but that bond isn't free. That bond's gonna cost you at least $6 million to borrow that money, so that's 19.
So if you are including, and again, these are your, you know what? I'm doing what I said I wasn't gonna do.
I think that's okay,
These
but-
are your numbers.
So how much is a $13 million bond gonna cost?
Man, it's in the study.
It is.
It is, but here's the thing though, council member. You said, I believe we should do X, Y, Z. and
Well, I do believe that, I would
Okay.
like to be a
Make
little
make a motion. That's it. All you have to say is, I make a motion that we convert AA McNeil into a small boutique and that we do X, Y, Z, D, and E. You literally have that power. You can do that. You can you can amend the agenda tonight to do that. So that way.
Well, I would like to have input from somebody just besides me. You know, I mean, what everybody else think about that? What do you think about saving some money and not spending that much money and still having a nice hotel?
I'll make a motion. Floor is yours. We don't even have to guess about it. You can see if what you are suggesting based on your math and your information and the research you've done, if the majority of the council agrees with you. You know, you've said a couple of times, your report. No, ma'am, it's the city's report. But if you need to appropriate funds where you can do a separate study of what's already been done, you can literally make that motion right now. You are not powerless. Literally. You can amend the agenda tonight.
Can I have it put on the agenda for next week?
You have what on the agenda?
Well, you know, you kind of put me on the spot.
Yeah, have what on the agenda?
Well, I need to think about what you're asking, I don't exactly know, I mean, this is a work session. I'm putting out an alternative, all right, I don't really want to make a motion tonight, I would like for everybody else to perhaps see what their constituents think about building something smaller and saving, according to my estimates, about $20 million. Again, my estimates. But we could do the same thing on a smaller scale for a lot less money.
Okay.
With properties the city already owns.
Yeah, so you're not interested in asking the council?
Not tonight, no, sir, I just want you to present that tonight, as again, this is a work session and it is a discussion.
Okay. But you do know that you can amend
I
it?
do know that,
Okay.
yes, sir,
All right.
I'm aware. But again, it's discussion. I'd like to see us spend less money and have something that we can still be proud of for less money.
All right, cobblestone. All right, council, any other comments related to?
I do have one question. In my research, and again, my research is what I looked up on the internet. I don't know exactly who to call, but what do you estimate the annual operating costs for a 54-room hotel to be per year?
I would refer to the experts that did the feasibility study that told us that.
And what did they say?
Man, did you do an operation request on that? On the feasibility
I
study?
did,
Okay, so you don't know what's in it?
I did, but I just said,
I'm confused.
well, I know, I just said, do you know what it's gonna cost to run the hotel every year?
Ma'am, I do not have the 60 or 70 page feasibility study in front of me, but it's there. It's been voted on. So I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I don't do the math on something that important. The city hired experts to do that for us.
But you can't say what those costs are per year.
Yeah, you quoted from them, ma'am. I mean, I'm a little bit confused.
No, I just asked what the costs were per year, because we got.
I'll tell you what, I'll find a feasibility study for you tonight.
Okay.
And answer that for you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. But I think they already got a copy of it. All right, so anybody else, anything with cobblestone? All right. Council, just real quick. I want to play something for you. I want to remind everybody that everything that you say in this room, every text message that you send to a city-owned cell phone is part of the public record. Okay? So this is a meeting from May 2nd because part of the first two items that Councilmember Marine brought up tonight, and I want everybody to understand, Councilmember Marine is the one that wanted to talk about Cobblestone Hotel and economic development. I think you can't have those types of conversations, and I think I've said before, and I've waited about 8 months before saying anything. But I think I admonished or told this group that if we want to keep having this conversation, we're going to have the conversation. And I think now it's time to have a conversation as it relates to this. And I need, because we've had the chairman of the Mitchell County Economic Development Authority come to this body and talk about the things that we were doing and planning on doing. I think we reached a point to where, Council, I'm just being completely honest with you, we're going to have to find out whether or not Mr. Bostic speaks for the county. You know, when I say the county, I'm talking about the commission. Because there's been some things said to us that is a big concern. And I just want to make sure, is he talking for himself, for the Mitchell County Development Authority, or is he literally talking for the county as an appointed official? So this is May 2nd, 2022.
Across the field, to stand, to maintain, and it.
So we're talking about the Boys and Girls Club. It's 3 years ago.
It's, all it's going to do is cost. It's going to cost the field, to stand, to maintain, and ensure forever. And we're going to have nothing left in the trust fund when the rates go, and they are going up. You heard it here first. So I don't think it's a good idea to waste that money, to spend it on these capital projects, these grandiose ideas that y'all are coming up with. I don't think it's a good idea.
These grandiose ideas, I don't think that they're valid ideas. This included the Boys and Girls Club that we just cut a ribbon on. Now, this is the chairman. Now, this is him identifying himself that way now. And this is to the larger cobblestone conversation.
But, you know, those huge buildings, I'm not sure we can afford that.
Now, I don't know what he meant by them, that we can go build that for them. But.
You know, I'm chairman.
Okay, you guys heard that, right? That's him identifying himself as chairman of the Mitchell County Development Authority. So he's an appointed official, county official,
Yeah.
Speak.
And I'm gonna tell y'all, I heard about jobs, economic development, let me tell y'all something. You're gonna hear it from me first. You know the first thing somebody asks you when they come to a town and start this, what's the village government like? How do they feel? Do they work together? Do they go along racial lines?
Do they go along racial lines? Now, Councilmember Green wanted to talk about economic development and Cobblestone Hotel tonight. I didn't put this on. But we're gonna have a conversation. I have no idea what folks raised has to do anything about making legislative decisions in the city. None.
When you go along racial lines, don't expect anybody to come here. I'm telling you, you heard it here.
All right, so this is from the February 3rd council meeting, 2025 of this year, specifically about Cobblestone.
Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. We'll speak about the hotel as well. We'll tell you some things you may not know tonight.
If you don't mind, just your name for the record.
I'm Joe Boston Jr.
All I ask you to do, just state your name for the record. Just your name.
I'm chairman of the Economic Development Authority.
So if you identify yourself as a public official here in this room, all right? You are County Economic Development Authority Chair, got it?
Served as chairman for 18 years, then served on the board for 16 years. I know a lot about the hotel. I live it. You got 3 existing hotels here already, they're already firmly established, that aren't doing great. You talk to them. We also got 2 big restaurants right here in town that sign off some business. I know what I'm talking about. This will not work to go to Georgia. There's no support for that in this town. This town has been farming since 1856. The 169 years, that's all it is agriculture.
That's all it is here, is agriculture. For 169 years. Now, we're talking about economic, I just want to make sure we're clear, we're talking about economic development now. This is on the agenda tonight. And I think it's relevant to understand the thoughts and processes of the chairman of the Mitchell County Economic Development Authority. Because in order for us to do what we do, there has to be some degree of partnership. I'm hoping and thinking.
Just 1 second. So that was the thought. Council, I would love to give to my if there's no objection, another minute.
But for 169 years, this town's been agriculture, either directly or indirectly supported by agriculture. People don't come to an agricultural town to spend the night. There's no one trying to attract you. The only reason they come here to stay is for funeral or some type of function.
Did y'all hear that? The only time they come here to spend overnight is for a funeral or that's why I played the video, because I didn't want to quote anybody. I wanted, I know it's important.
The only reason they come here to stay is for funeral or some type of function.
That's why it's functional. So no one is staying in this region for business or any other reason. If you spend the night in Camilla and you don't live here, you're here for a funeral. I believe we have a lot more to offer than that. I really do.
And Mr. Rose, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I believe we do as well. I really do. And,
Well, I have a floor now.
okay.
So, this is an email that I received on July 29th, 2024. So I've had this email, but in the spirit, because I said we're going to do something different in 2025. More cooperation, less drama. But Councilmember Green wanted to talk about Cobblestone Hotel and economic development. We will have the conversation. Here's what, can y'all see who this is from? From the front line, you see that? If you can't see it, I have it. Mitchell County Development Authority. Talking about Cobblestone Hotel. We have a great opportunity to work together to bring a hotel to Camilla and Mitchell County. I understand that you have someone doing a market study on our area. True. Feasibility study was happening before we even identified who would even come here. I met with Cobblestone. This is Mitchell County Development Authority, the chair, sitting right here. I met with the county, the Cobblestone Hotel several months ago about a nicer hotel option here in Mitchell County. I have a follow-up visit with Jonathan Hampton from Cobblestone next Tuesday the 6th. Would you be available to meet with Jonathan? This is the Mitchell County Development Authority. Say, hey, listen, Cobblestone seems like a pretty good hotel. You got time to come talk to him, Mr. Mayor. Because I think the word has been, this has all been born right here. Would you be able to be available to meet with Jonathan and myself the afternoon of Tuesday, August 6th? We'll be happy to set a meeting either here at my office or City Hall if that works for you. I look forward to working with you to grow Camilla together. Now, if you got a problem with Owens and the majority of this council in Cobblestone, there's somebody else y'all need to be talking to now. Here's the second email. This is simple for me. You want to have the conversation, we're going to have the whole conversation. All right, this is from August 1st, 2024. Well, yeah, on August 1st, 2:47 p.m. Now, this is Owens talking now to the Mitchell County Development Authority. Hi, James. This is James Eubank, the Executive Director of the Mitchell County Development Authority. Hi, James. I had a great call with Jonathan from Cobblestone today. And the irony is that he's familiar with the firm that is completing Camilla's hotel feasibility study. Now, this is the second. Now, this second line is what I really want everybody to concentrate on. This is me talking. I said it. And the irony is that he's familiar with the firm that is completing Camilla's hotel feasibility study. That said, I recommended to Jonathan that our meeting with me, the mayor of the city, be postponed until phase 2 of the city's study is completed and more information is provided by the city's city URA's financial advisor and the firm conducting the study. Thanks again. In August of last year, I said, look, this is a great idea, sounds great, but we ain't finna move nowhere till we find out what this thing gonna look like. That was Owens talking. I get it. You want me to meet with the guy, Mitchell County Development Authority? No problem. I can't meet with him until I even know this will even make sense. You can't meet with the mayor until the folks don't complete this study. Because if the study doesn't make sense, there's no need for us to meet. And what I'm expressing to everybody is that these folks, with all this paper and all this ink that's putting this silliness in your mailbox, ain't telling you this piece. Here's the response. Glad to enter, this is from the Mitchell County Development Authority. Glad the introduction and initial conversation has started. I will be happy to help in the future where I can. This is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity to work together to move Camilla and Mitchell County forward. Now, I've been waiting for 8 months for somebody to come here to talk about this conversation. If you got a problem with the city of Camilla building a hotel, then from my perspective, you got a problem with the Mitchell County Development Authority. Somebody need to be calling Mr. Boston. Now, in August of last year, It was a great opportunity. So what has happened between August and now? Where it's just trash. From my perspective, and only thing that I can see is who we're gonna buy the land from,
Absolutely.
the builder. That's the only difference that I can see. It was a great opportunity in August. But from my recollection, as soon as we identify where we're gonna build it and who we're gonna purchase the land from, oh, that was a terrible idea. Now, all of this is part of the public record. So if somebody's in before I do, hey, your office, your authority said it was a great idea in August. What changed your mind? All right, are you? Anything else? Council? All right. We will move on. All right, the depot. Councilman Collins, I heard that you have wanted to wait, but if you're on the line and you want to talk about the depot, you can. Are you there?
I want to wait.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. All right. Item 4, Cobblestone Hotel appraisal questions. Councilman Paul.
Pretty much went through those earlier when we were discussing that, but I would like to clear up something that was said earlier. On page 67, quoting, the subject will require approximately 15 months for construction and will require an estimated 4 years to reach stabilization. And gather that you're talking of 5.5 years. But to understand, stabilization means turning a profit. This is what the appraiser says in his report. I want to make sure that that's understood.
Yeah, so your definition of stabilization, where are you getting that from, sir?
That is what it means as far as the appraiser is concerned.
Okay, according to what?
Stabilizing income.
Yeah, according to.
Stabilizing income.
Oh, okay, all right. So apparently according to you.
That is an economic definition, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, I'm helping you guys out. I'll help you out again.
I know you will.
All right. Right. Item 5, and I'm looking this up here. Item 5, scores update. I want to read this to y'all. So, scores will be on the market this week. Our realtor came down last week. The photographer came out over the weekend to take pictures of scores, to get everything set up for his portfolio. It's my understanding that scores will be marketed nationwide. And I'm gonna read something in here that is gonna be pretty exciting for folks to listen as it relates to scores. And I'm getting all my videos and emails together for that one too, when the appropriate time comes. So Lisa Davis is our realtor. Been in the business a long time, and asked her just to give me an assessment so that I can present to the public. And said, I'll give you a paragraph, no problem. But there's something in this email that I think is very important as it relates to this. So 69 West Broad, that's where Scores is located, in Camilla, Georgia, represents a unique opportunity for the city to generate revenue and while enhancing downtown development. As a fully equipped turnkey restaurant. This property is an income-producing asset that can be leased for steady rental income or sold to recoup city funds and reinvest in community projects. A vibrant restaurant or sports bar in this location will attract foot traffic, support local businesses, and contribute to economic growth, making downtown a more attractive destination. Hence the reason why we made these investments, everybody. With strong market interest, listen to this now. With strong market interest already, before officially hitting the market, the property is in demand with 2 offers. 2 folks have already offered to buy the thing. And I can tell you, and some sitting around this table know that there's been at least somewhere between 5 to 7 folks who's been trying to lease it. Whether leased or sold, 69 West Broad is a valuable investment for the city, offering a path to financial return while fostering economic activity in Camilla's historic downtown. Now, this is somebody that does this for a living. Two offers already on the table. Now, we're going to ask for the max that we can get, but obviously the market will determine what it's worth. You feel me? The market will determine that, what folks are willing to pay for it. But we're going to ask for what we believe it's worth. And we are extremely excited about that. So I just want to let the public know that scores will be hitting the market, the real estate market this week. And the expansion is going to be, or the reach rather, is going to be wide. So it's just not local, it's going to be regional, statewide, and I believe nationwide. This is going to be a great opportunity, not only for the new owner or the new person or the new entity that leases it, but it's going to be great for the citizens of this city. So I just want to follow up with that. Any questions, council?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I would like at the council meeting next Monday night, the finance director present an accounting of exactly how much money the city has in the schools project. We don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, yes, sir. That has been the subject. Councilmember Marine knows that this number has been discussed. It's been done publicly. From my perspective, sir, that is a redundant request. However, if so, that's not even a question that I would entertain unless, as chair, that information is already readily available, has already been discussed publicly, has already been disseminated to whoever's asked for it. That is public information, sir.
Well, I want to hear it from the finance director.
All right. So if you want to amend the agenda to instruct or direct the city manager to direct one of their employees to come here and talk to this council, you're more than welcome to make that motion, sir, to amend the agenda to see if this is what the majority of the council wants the city manager to do.
I'm not going to waste my time with that, because we know that's going nowhere.
Okay.
So I will do an open record request.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you, I think Councilmember Marina has already.
Mine only goes through November, I don't have the last month, so
Yes,
it's
sir.
not totally accurate.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I do have it right here, but it's not the total number, so I wouldn't want to give the wrong numbers.
Indeed.
Like I said, mine ends November 2024, I think they were open to revisit.
Through January.
Yeah, so I wouldn't want to give the numbers I have because they're not accurate.
Got it. So I think a good, yes, sir. I think a good point for you. Well, I tell you what, I'll let you figure that out. Is there going to be your request? All right. Anything else? All right. Get community application. I'm gonna run through these pretty quickly, Council. All right, you remember what I was talking about that the city of Camilla was planning first community? Well, because of that, we got us a pretty good advantage in terms of associating ourselves or applying to be a GET community, which is a Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. And part of the participating communities, if we get accepted for this, and because of our Plan First designation, it gives us a pretty good bump, if you will, in our application. And basically create a community housing team, develop new ideas about meeting local housing needs and enhance community development, learn about approaches and resources to improve housing stock, produce community housing plan, implement a plan, further bonus for the housing tax credit application. Now imagine that, for folks that want to build here. If folks want to build here, that there's a potential for housing tax credit, for them to receive this. Now, you guys recall Quail Valley? The old Quail Valley on 19?
It was just renovated.
And this is the point that I'm making. It stayed that way, I think, for at least 5 to 10 years. Dilapidated, the whole nine. One of the things that I wanted to do when I became mayor of this city is to do something about that. Took a little bit. We got some private investors, and now it's Camilla Commons. And everybody, that apartment complex is now market rate. So folks pay the full ride to live there. This is what I'm expressing to you and what I've been expressing from the get-go. Is that, obviously, I don't know everything, obviously, but with members, majority of this council, what we've been able to do in the last 4 to 5 years, in my mind, has just been amazing. And we took a property that no one had touched and had no problem driving up and down 19 every day and not doing anything about it. But we got it done. And I think becoming a gate community will help us do that even more. Any questions related to gate?
So, y'all gonna complete the application?
Yeah, so what I would like to do, and thank you, Councilmember, what I would like to do is, it's pretty straightforward, but we're gonna have to do some work to get it done. So council, what I'm asking is there at least 3 council members to move this to an action item for next week so that we can get moving on that, to get the necessary folks in place to start getting spun up for this application. So it is a competitive process.
So moved.
All right, so.
I'd have to say the whole thing.
No, ma'am,
You know, you're
I just need 3
supposed to be
hands.
Okay,
There we go.
I would like to make a motion to make that an action item for next week's
Perfect,
agenda.
thank you. All right, Plan First Development. Remember I told you with our Plan First Development, it comes with a tremendous amount of incentive to include potentially $3 million over the next 3 years. Part of what we were talking about, our comprehensive plan, this is why we got awarded this. See right here where it says provide, seek funding to care for the city's aging water system and drainage, provide upgrades to the wastewater treatment facility through grant funding and this type of thing. We got some of the grant funding, but we had to use, this is one of these grandiose ideas that Ms. Boston was talking about. This is part of that deal as it relates to Springfield improvements, where some folks sitting around this table right now voted against. But luckily, we had that money here when we found out that we had $500,000 of additional damage done to that spray field, and we were able to get it fixed without even skipping a beat. Downtown Development Revolving Fund. Now, everybody, again, and I would challenge, in a respectful way, our Downtown Development Authority to partner with our URA, with this council, because now as a Plan First community, we have an opportunity to do some very special stuff downtown. But everything appears to be so doggone adversarial and for no reason. For no reason. This money is just sitting out there. this fund, max loan $250,000 for 15 years. Imagine what that could do for one of our businesses downtown, or a couple of our businesses downtown. But I tell you what, and I'll say it again like I said before, if the Downtown Development Authority refuses to act, we will. It must be a wonderful thing that the only thing that you get to do, your only job, is to try to see how you can punch holes in everybody else's ideas without none of your own.
So is this money available to local businesses
Yes.
in form of a loan?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I
Yes.
understand.
Oh, no, I'm saying yes with enthusiasm,
I
as if,
know, okay,
but here's the
I
thing,
think it's awesome. That's great.
but it's been here for decades.
Okay, so let's figure out how to give it a hold of it. All right, so is that part of the Plan First incentive?
Indeed, we get it, you see right there, Plan First Community
Right, it's
receive
1% discount, I saw that.
an interest.
Okay.
Can you imagine how much
Okay, that's a lot.
that is a lot?
That is a lot.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But we have a downtown development authority. DCA would love to get this information from them. But
So the local business, I'm thinking through the process. So we identify the local business goes through the application process? or
no,
is this
we
thing?
apply as a
We
city.
apply.
Absolutely.
And then we disperse.
And then we disperse.
Okay, awesome. Okay,
But you need the downtown development authority to take the lead.
okay, we can do that. Let's work on it. Let's work on it. Make it happen.
All right. Okay. I hear you.
Well, you just gotta let me know.
Okay.
Give me some more homework. I'm good.
No.
I like
There's the chairman right
Okay,
there.
that's great.
That's the chairman. Y'all have that conversation. That'll be great. All right, the redevelopment fund, max loan $1 million. Addresses slump and blight, grant assistance to local governments for public facilities, direct loan assistance to private businesses. See, some folks have been trying to convince folks that all of these investments that we've been making as a city to private entities was something nefarious or odd. There are numerous programs out here that are funded by the state and federal government that is designed to work with private businesses. The only thing that we've done as a city is that we've used our resources to expedite that. And by expediting that, we were able to now become a Plan First city where we can take advantage not only of the potential $3 million, but the 1% reduction in interest rate if we get selected for this program. So it's all made sense. CHIP grant, HUD funds, $10 million in CHIP grants from local governments, nonprofits, and public housing authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a huge deal for our community. So the next CHIP go round, we really got to leverage our Plan First designation in order to put us ahead of the heat. So very excited about that. But these are just some of the incentives that we get as a Plan First city, one of 6 cities in the state. This is what we get. So any questions related to Plan First and any incentives?
All right, I got the RDM, I got the CHIP, and there was the other one before that.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I will forward the whole council, the entire, the whole PowerPoint deal. Yes, ma'am. I'll get it to you. All right. Item 8, utility bill credit consideration. So council, a couple of years ago, we did something that never been done in the city before. The majority of this council voted to return some of the credits that we received from MEAC back to the citizens of this city. And when we talked a couple years ago about that, we was really considering how do we do that on a continuous basis. So, and typically it runs like a year behind. So you get 23 money in 24, and you get 24 money in 25. So what we're talking about now is 23 money that we got in 2024 that has already been dispersed. the city of Camilla received last year $564,000 back. Council, what I'm recommending is that we have about roughly 1,800 residential households here in the city. Recommend that we send $100 to each household as soon as we can, and asking to draw down an additional $200,000 in order to do that from the MEAG trust.
What about the businesses? Are we able to help the businesses?
Yeah, so as you know,
Are they paid too, right?
yes, however, there are other incentives that businesses receive that residential folks don't receive. So they were not counted in this particular.
I just know we're not really, because it would have been nice to get a credit,
Indeed,
as
indeed.
well. I don't run one anymore, but, to be considered would have been a wonderful opportunity. So I didn't know if there are other things out there for businesses, but maybe we could let them know so they don't feel left out.
No, well, they're not left out. I just ran through a whole slide deck
Right.
of benefits for the city. Councilman Palmer can tell you, the city of Camilla, I don't know how much he received, I think it's like $5,000, I don't know, he can tell you. To fix the help improve his facade at his business. No one, a homeowner could not come in here and ask us for $5,000 to fix their front porch.
Okay,
You
I
feel me?
understand.
So I think it balances
So
itself.
there are other.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate it.
What was the amount again?
Yeah, so we got about roughly 1,800 residential customers at $100 each, to be roughly $180,000. I'm recommending $200,000 to make sure that everybody is covered. But yeah, that's up to the council. What are your thoughts?
With that,
So I'm sorry.
yeah, with that too, another thought, just as we went down this path of doing rebate pieces and returning money in the form of a credit, we just recognize too that bills remain high as well, and want us to lend some thought at looking at doing more weatherization projects. So we want to identify an amount as well to pull down from the rebate to contract out with the energy auditor. And vision with this too, folks who do experience those high bills can contact the city through this contracting program and have your home audited. And then in future down the line, I do also see us in collaboration with the community. If the community wants to do this with those rebate funds, setting aside some to also rehab homes. Because we do recognize there are a lot of older homes in the community. That can too play a role in why utility bills are high as well. So we want to identify maybe another 20,000 to 25 to add with the 200, just to have that contracted energy auditor on standby to go to.
All right, and Councilman, just so that, and please correct me if I get this wrong. The idea is that for some folks and their bills, it's not so much that you're running your heater or your AC. It is that some of that energy is escaping from under the door, it's escaping through the window. And the councilman, when he's using the term audit, to have somebody come in and actually inspect your home and be able to tell you, hey, you're losing this amount of air at the bottom of your door. You need to reseal this, or your windows, or whatever the case may be. And Councilman, I think, is a wonderful idea in conjunction with this. Because if folks can save just $10 a month in their bill, that's $120 a year. That's a Christmas present at the end of the year. So I think that's a wonderful idea.
EMC provides this service as well. EMC provides that same
Sure.
service.
And there it is. Yes, sir.
My comment is, how much does that audit cost, for them to do that setting?
Yeah,
They're asking for 20,000, but you don't know what the cost it would be, and you don't know how many customers that you will be able to serve.
We
Sure.
could probably ask somebody at EMC.
Yeah,
This
I'd say
is for starters.
about 400 to 500 per household. And again, this is on an as-needed basis. And can also, again, for us to have a process to track and see how many folks are needing this. as well too. We're getting, 500,000 back. And then those overpaid bills.
Indeed.
And two, I like the recommendation of, giving back to our citizens, because, the citizens realize it's your money. And this is something that I feel that when we got started, and I was very passionate about that, you know, we found out we get this money back now.
That's right.
So if we can get it back, we need to bless our citizens for, you know, doing their obligation. And, it does come in a heavy hand for a lot of citizens. But going back to that, study there, that's something for us to kind of look into once we get the raw numbers of how many customers we'll know. I know we said as needed, but, it's a lot of people might say, I need that study.
Sure.
So, we need to kind of do a little investigation and get that done before we pull more money down from that. But I definitely want to go with that, $100 per client, customer that we serve, and go from there.
All right, so how about we split the difference? Let's have, if there's 3 council members that will move the housing auditing piece to Monday, that gives us about a week or so to kind of look at some numbers. And then I would argue, council members, there's no need, the money has already been deposited, there's no need for us to wait for anything. I would recommend that we amend the agenda tonight to authorize the city manager to go ahead and start putting that in motion, so that the citizens of this city can start realizing that $100 credit in their bill as soon as possible. So let me ask the reverse. Is there at least 3 council members to move the weatherization auditing piece is to see what that number would look like, and potentially have that as an action item for next week. Obviously, if we find out that it's a little bit more complicated than that, we need to look at a couple more things, we can surely address that once we get there next Monday. But that doesn't stop us from doing that. Yeah. So at least 3 council members to move the auditing piece, the household auditing weatherization to next Monday as an action item. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. And at this time, council, is there a motion to amend tonight's agenda to add, to vote on tonight, to authorize the city manager to disperse $100 to all residential households here in the city of Camilla as soon as possible, using funds from the year-end settlement from 2023 DAG settlement, and to authorize the mayor and the city clerk to sign the appropriate documents to facilitate that drawdown from the MEAG fund. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion to properly second. Any other discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This amount of money we're talking about, well, in the first place, I'm against enabling people not to do better. And giving them money, is enabling them or keeping them from doing better. That money needs to be put in a fund and used for, like Mr. Morgan said over there, to survey their homes, to help with insulation, doors, windows, whatever the case is, to help them to lower their utility bills from here forward, not just some quick fix that's enabling them not to do better. And that's the only way I would agree with this.
Yeah, I find the language enabling. I don't think that there is a mother or father or a senior citizen on a fixed income that would consider receiving $100 of their money back. I think some would even argue they've been enabling us they're finally realizing some of those credits are coming back to them. This money was produced by the bills that they paid.
May I ask a question? Okay, new kid on the block. So we pay in advance for the power. So I'm just wondering how we got this $500,000 credit. Did we overpaid?
Indeed, so.
Okay.
So-
I mean, they don't send us a bill, we pay it every month. You know,
Yeah.
I don't understand, that's why I'm asking.
Absolutely. So let's just talk about the MEAC fund in itself. The city of Camilla, 15 years ago, 17 years ago, roughly, decided that we would take some of our money, these refunds that we get, and put it into a MEAC fund to credit. That fund generated a tremendous amount, millions of dollars.
Okay.
What you saw earlier in that first tape was talking about taking $4 million of that to help build the Boys and Girls Club with the spray field
Right.
and that type of thing. So, yes, those are basically additional credits, if you will, that is produced by the customer. And the idea was back then was that when Vogtle comes online, Plant Vogtle, the nuclear plant that just came online.
We pay the payments with that.
Correct. The idea then was that once Vogtle came online, the cost would skyrocket. So we would take from the MEAC fund to offset those additional costs, so we don't have to go to the customers and hit them over the head to raise their rates to do that. All right, Vogtle, and both Vogtle 3 and 4 have been online now going on 3 years. What wasn't anticipated during those discussions back then was that we're receiving clean energy credits. And those nuclear energy credits have been treating us pretty good. So our bill averages about roughly $900,000 to $1 million per month. That's the city's bill. And at the end of the year, they do what's called a true-up. All right, City of Camilla, you paid us all of this upfront. But at the end of the year, you only needed to pay us this.
Gotcha.
So you overpaid us $564,363. So what we're saying is we're gonna take $200,000 of that and give it back to the citizens that produced it. And use the rest.
And use the rest possibly to, audit homes, or.
And use some of
But it
the,
would go in the fund.
indeed,
Okay.
indeed.
Well, thank you for explaining that, just.
No, you're more than welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Just a lingering question with that too, though, that I think popped out is, is there even any way to pay the actual amounts throughout the year? I guess not, based on the estimates.
No, because number one, there's a margin attached to it anyway.
And they probably have to look at their bottom line at the end of the year.
Yeah, so,
And we got a lot of other cities, you know. so
the
it's probably a
problem is,
percentage of whatever you pay, and they just, per city.
well, 80% of what we pay are fixed costs. 20% is variable.
It's very.
So is that variable? We don't know, because if a cold storm comes in or a heat wave comes in, we don't know how we will react. So what we believe to do is that we will continue to operate that way, but the fair thing to do in our minds, hopefully the majority of the council will say, you know what? Everything looked okay. We got some extra. We'll finna get some of that back to you. As we continue to use some of that money, obviously, to move the government forward. All right, good question.
All right,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As I've said, every time this comes up, approximately half of that money is paid by commercial customers. And they pay a higher rate than the residential customers, so we're actually giving their money to residential citizens.
Yeah,
And it should be used, like I said, for, stabilizing the utility rates in these particular households that, need that sort of help to, insulate their houses and whatever, and we're not doing it.
Yeah, I disagree with with that assessment. Because again, as I just mentioned to, Councilmember Barini, the businesses that operate in this town, who's responsible for funding building the roads? Who's responsible for funding the general day-to-day operation of the city? Who is responsible for creating an infrastructure that allows businesses to operate? Now, that's not anything against the businesses. I'm just saying that there is a covenant that has always been with the citizen and the business or the company, if you will. Depending on what the company does, they get tax breaks. But we're not going to stop building. The citizens are not going to stop paying taxes and not build the roads. T-SPLOST is funded by 1% sales tax for the citizens. We use that T-SPLOST funds to improve our roads, where semi-trucks that belong to companies drive on. So I think that there is a covenant that balances off and a nice trade-off as it relates to the consumer, the resident, and the business. But that's my opinion. All right. Any other comments? All right, council, we have a motion that's been properly seconded. And again, council, you're authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to sign the appropriate documents to communicate or transmit to MEAG to draw down $200,000 to fund sending $100 to each household. And council, just remind me, is this the agenda piece or the actual voting piece? Did we already do the agenda piece? Did we already amend the agenda? Okay, so this is to amend the agenda to add this. All right, any other comments? We have a motion for a second. Any other comments? All right, Madam Clerk, please do a roll call vote.
We've already amended the agenda, now we're voting on it.
No, I thought we were understanding that we were amending the agenda.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes,
This is an agenda.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, there you go.
Right. Councilmember Breen,
Yes.
Councilman Barley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Maples,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
No,
All right, motion carries. Thank you, council. I had Councilman Burley, Morgan, Mr. Maples, and Mr. Collins in the affirmative. Okay.
I was.
Oh, in the affirmative also. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so motion carries. Thank you. All right, council, is there a motion to authorize the mayor and the city clerk to sign all necessary documents to facilitate a MEAG drawdown of $200,000 to be used to credit all households here in the corporate city limits of Camilla $100 as soon as possible on their utility bill. Is there a motion?
Motion second.
Have a motion properly second. Any discussion?
So why wouldn't you draw 100, if there's 1,800 customers, why not the 180? You just, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, great question. What we learned from the
That's
first deal
$40,000.
is that those numbers fluctuate.
Okay.
And if we draw down 200,000, but we only need 180,
Okay.
well, no, we'll just put it in other funds if need be. So,
You know, I'm still of the opinion that $20,000 is a lot of money.
indeed. Well, the good news is if it gets used, it gets used for something that obviously, if we That 20, whatever the balance is, will come back to this council.
To decide what to do.
What to do with it, because we're bringing $200,000 for the specific purpose of saving $100 to each household.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So we have a motion to the proper second. All right, any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, your roll call.
Councilmember Varane,
Yes.
Councilman Garland,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
Yes.
Councilman Maple,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer,
No.
All right, motion carries. Thank you, council. All right. So hopefully here pretty soon, citizens of Camilla, you'll see a $100 credit on your utility bill. All right, employee retention bonus, this distribution, council, the idea was to have this conversation with our city manager, but I think in general, we're in agreement that, you know, we set aside, some monies for this retention for our, employees. And we'll take this week, if it's okay with you, we'll need three hands. But the idea is that we got some money left in ARPA for this. So do we do this quarterly or do we do it monthly? We do it quarterly, obviously it'll last longer. And we're obviously telling our employees that this is just the remainder of the ARPA money. But we want to share that with, or award, or whatever adjective you would like to use for these awesome employees that we have. To let them know that we love the work that they do for the citizens of this city. And the only caveat I would add is that public safety, obviously, our firefighters and our police officers, every time that siren goes off, every time they hit the road rushing to a call, they don't know what's at the end of that. They don't know when they pull a car over for a speeding ticket, they don't know what's on the other side of that window. And I think that kind of challenging situation, when you go to a house fire, not knowing what's on the other side of that door, who needs to be rescued, split-second decisions have to be made.